So yesterday I did a silicone thin coat render finish. The only bit that I left is that column in that corner, part of this column, and the internal side of this one. And what I'm going to do is just give you a demonstration on how I put it on. But as you can see, that's the finish. It's like a textured finish. I've just got a bit of cleaning up to do around windows. I've took all the tape off, and I just need to, you know, go around it and double check it. I can't get in that door at the moment because the customer's gone out to take that tape off. And as you can see across the bottom, I patched it in. And what I'm going to do is put something called Silicone, which is a Polish render that I've been using. And it'll just finish it off nice all the way across the bottom. It's like a damp proof course, obviously above that, but it's water resistant, it's a resin, so it'll look good, it'll look tidy when it's all done. So I'll carry on with next part of the video. So if you've watched first part of the video, this is your silicone thin coat render. As you can see, it's like a sloppy, gooey sort of stuff that just falls off your trowel. You know, you just have to be careful and steady with it. So what I'm going to do is I've got this column, and I've got this one at the other side of me, and I've got another one round the corner. If you've watched first half of the video, you'll sort of know what I mean. So I'm going to just demonstrate how you put it on. So first of all, when you nip off your handboard, you call it nipping off a handboard anyway, that's what a plasterer's term is. You do it on the corner and you sort of stroke up, and what you don't want to do is do it on this side, you know, so it's, if you do it like that, you'll end up dropping it off at both sides, so you do it on your corner, and that's just a trick of trade. You just get enough on your trowel. This stuff's going to fall all over because it's right going. And all you do, put your silicone on as thin as you possibly can get it. Just make sure you can close the edge of the bead all the way down, and just get it on. And that scraping noise, you want to hear that when you're doing this. But obviously when you're doing plastering and skimming, you don't want to hear that. It's a completely different system to internal plastering. So basically, when you're doing this, if you're doing a big wall with a big gable end, you want to be as quick as you can. You need to get it on fast, as tidy as you can, and always follow your dry lines. So it's not gonna, you know, your dry lines are not going to set on you and end up showing through. If you're doing something thin coat render in summer and the sun's blazing on it, you're better off shielding it, putting something around it so that the sun can't blaze on that wall, because if it does, it's just going to set like more or less straight away, so you have to be quick. You need a good team to be able to put it on. Or you can put it in a spraying machine, which we have, but for a small job like this, we don't, you know, it'll take more time to set up, so I don't bother with machine for a small job like this. So that's it basically. And as soon as you've got it on, and it's, you know, all the way around, so then you want to get your plastic floor. This is a Refina plastic floor. You can use any plastic, obviously floor, but it's got to be flat and no cracks in it or anything like that. You don't want to use the stainless steel trowel, what I've just been using. That's just an old dotting trowel that I use for rendering or dot and dab. I don't use the skimming trowel because it will just damage it, or end up getting kinks in it. And a plastic fork gives it the best finish, which I'll demonstrate now. Put a little bit of pressure on. I've literally just put this on as well, so it's like the thinner you put it on, the less time you're going to have to do this. The thicker you put it on, you'll have a little bit more time. So if you're doing a big gable end wall, or you're doing a large wall, you put it on just slightly, a little bit thicker, and it will give you just a little bit more time. And all you're doing is rubbing it in circles to lock the grit into itself, and that's the best way of doing it, by putting it on by hand. If you do it with a machine and you spray it on, you're not locking it into the wall, it's just like spraying it on and buff, that's it, it's on there. But it's still, you can still do that obviously, but this is just, I feel, from experience, as you're rubbing it in, it's locking it into the wall itself, so it seals every little part of that section is just going to be completely sealed. And you just keep rubbing it until it's got the same sort of consistency and the same sort of texture that you want on the wall. And as you're rubbing it, you see all bits flying off and stuff. That's just the excess amount that's coming off with it. Obviously, it's not me that's dropping any. It's just hardest to me. You have to make sure everything's well protected. Make sure your floor's covered. Any windows, any doors, all taped up. Because once this stuff's on there and it's set, you're not going to get it off. You'd have to use a very powerful jet wash to get it off. Any chemicals just won't work. So just protect everything as much as you possibly can. So when you've rubbed it up and you've got the texture you want, just make sure you clean all your beads. There's a bead on this side, so I'm just going to scrape down it, make sure that's clean. Don't allow it to set, otherwise it'll just be a bit more work to get it off. And the less work there is, the better. So I'll show you the other side of the bead, how we're going to finish it onto the finished wall, and you might be able to see the face a little bit better. When you're rubbing it into existing wall that's already done, like this wall on here is already finished. So the way you want to do it is scrape off the excess, but just do it gently. Go all the way down your bead and just make sure all that excess is off there. And then just sort of rub it in gently, sort of this way. What you're trying to achieve is just to get that sharp point and make sure it's all uniform and it looks tidy. And then once you've done that bit, rather than rubbing it that way, which you're rubbing it and not on since, you want to rub it opposite way. So what that's doing is rubbing it back into the wall rather than back that way onto the wall. And as you rub it, you'll find that more stuff will go on this edge. You have to generally just wipe it off again, just make sure it's all off all the way down. Just make sure before you leave that day, just go back when it's all set. It takes about 3 or 4 hours until it properly goes off. So just come back and just check it, just make sure it's all tidy. And that's how you do the external corners on a little nib. Thanks for watching.